these issues. We now move on once again, and a Russian lawmaker has responded to President Trump's announcement on the resumption of nuclear testing by America, saying that the announcement is a signal to a shift towards an era of unpredictability and open confrontation. This comes in a backdrop of Russian tests of a new Poseidon torpedo, reportedly capable of causing radioactive tsunamis. With Russia amping up its own nuclear-capable armaments testing, this announcement makes for troubling news, signalling a possible return to Cold War-era levels of confrontational nuclear weapons build-up between the world's leading nuclear powers. We're now joined by Professor Georgy Toleraya. He's a professor from the Russian Academy of Science in Moscow. Thank you very much, Professor Toleraya, for joining us here on the program. A Russian lawmaker has come out and said that this marks a return to unpredictability. Do you agree that nuclear deterrence is a destabilizing new phase here, especially in the era of Donald Trump?
Well, I would say that if we're talking about nuclear tests, we still have to find out what exactly President Trump meant. Because he said that he's given instructions to Pentagon to resume nuclear testing. Well, in fact, in the US, it's the Minister of Energy, the Department of Energy, who does the nuclear testing. Maybe he meant something else, like the testing of a nuclear-capable cruise missiles or something like this, not the actual resumption of nuclear testing. Although we know that such plans do exist, and Russia have repeatedly said that if anybody would resume nuclear testing, Russia will have to do it again, but hopefully it will not happen. So personally, I presume it's just the Trump's emotional reaction to the tests of a new nuclear missile, which is called Burevestnik or Stormbringer in English, which can travel across the world for many times, and also the Poseidon nuclear torpedo. So maybe it's just the figure of speech and not the exact instructions, so we'll have to wait and see. I hope that that won't happen, because the resumption of nuclear testing would lead to other countries doing the same, and it won't make the situation in the world any more stable.
Yes, and of course, Dr. Toleraya, this comes as Donald Trump does say that there are talks going on with Moscow for a new denuclearization treaty. Your thoughts on this announcement coinciding with that?
Yes, well, there's no nuclear talks going with Moscow, in fact, because as you remember, Russia have suggested to discuss the strategic sum limitation treaty prolongation. Well,
apologies, Dr. Toleraya. Donald Trump said that today on Air Force One, just post the Xi Jinping summit.
Yes, I know, but we are not having any direct talks on nuclear weapons right now. Russia, in fact, have suggested that unilaterally to keep on its obligations under the nuclear treaty till next year, until it expires, and then there will be a possibility to talk about a prolongation of some new treaty or something. This suggestion have been answered by Trump or by US side formally. So we cannot say that there is some kind of a process of talks going right now. Same with China. It's just Trump's idea and Trump's desire to have talks on the nuclear weapons, both with Russia and China, but that doesn't happen.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Toleraya. Some great insight there. And thank you very much for taking the time. It's a pleasure having you on the programme. And now we stay in Europe for our next story. And 5 new suspects have been arrested on suspicion of stealing jewels from the Louvre Museum and have partially admitted their involvement in the daring daylight heist. However, the stolen treasures remain missing. Authorities said that 4 hooded thieves carried out the robbery on the morning of October the 19th, breaking into the Louvre's Apollo Gallery, home to the French crown jewels, while the museum was open to visitors. The incident has raised serious questions about security measures at the world's most visited art gallery. Paris prosecutor Laura Bacau stated that 2 of the suspects in custody are believed to have entered the museum through an upstairs window, while 2 accomplices waited below to help them escape with the loot. Authorities continue to investigate the heist and are working to locate the remaining suspects and recover the missing crown jewels. Now joining us is Alexander Ciel. He's a French and British journalist. He joins us live from London. Alexander, pleasure to speak to you, as always. Yeah. What more do we know? Some more developments?
Yes, so a third suspect connected with the Louvre heist was arrested in Paris, in the Paris region, and is now in custody. And since then, as you said, there's been a major development because 5 more people were arrested on Wednesday in the Paris area, according to police sources. So it really comes as part of the same investigation into the jewel theft that took place on the 19th of October. Police are still trying to determine the third suspect's role. Unlike the 2 men, as you said, he was seen below the Louvre, so outside, and maybe he was involved in the logistics, possibly as a getaway driver or as a lookout. So police are going to interrogate him for 96 hours, like the 2 other suspects. But the jewels haven't been found, and 2 suspects were taken into custody last week and have been charged with aggravated theft. So it really raises serious questions about security around museums in France.
And what actions have been made for the security in the Louvre and other museums in France since this dramatic crime has happened?
Yes, so there were audits and interviews with the Louvre's top authorities, and they're planning to rebuild part of the Louvre, to put in new CCTV cameras. But it's really an extremely significant case now, because these 5 arrests suggest police are expanding their focus beyond the core commando to the broader circle, and people who may have helped to plan, finance, or conceal the jewels afterwards. If investigators can link them with the main suspects, it could help recover the stolen pieces or clarify who was really behind the operation. It's really captivated the public in France. A jewel heist inside the Louvre feels almost cinematic. Lots of people have been watching robbery films these last few days in France. But for authorities, it's a serious test of security at one of France's most symbolic institutions. There is a mix of fascination and disbelief, and now real anticipation as the police close in what looks like an organized criminal network behind the theft.
Alexander Ciel, thank you very much for bringing us the update on that. Absolutely fascinating what's going on there. Well, that's